Welcome to the Ecom Breakthrough Podcast. Are you ready to unlock the full potential and growth in your business? You've already crossed 7 figures in sales, but the challenge is knowing how to take your business to the next level. Join Josh Hadley, an 8-figure ecom business owner and investor, as he interviews highly successful business owners. Get ready, because you're going to learn specific actions you can take today to help your business reach its full potential and leave a lasting impact on the world.
Welcome to the Ecom Breakthrough Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Hadley, where I interview the top business leaders in e-commerce. Today, I'm speaking with Stephen Pope of My Amazon Guy, and we will be talking a lot about content strategies and how to up-level your game on Amazon to capture more traffic and drive more revenue. This episode is brought to you by Ecom Breakthrough Consulting, where I help 7-figure companies grow to 8 figures and beyond. Listen, Stephen, I started Hadley Designs in 2015, and I grew it to an 8-figure brand in 7 years. I certainly made a lot of mistakes along the way that made that path to getting to 8 figures take a lot longer. There were times I genuinely I had self-doubt as to whether I could lead a multi-million-dollar business, or could my brand become a real brand? And if you are experiencing those same plateaus or those same challenges, go to ecombreakthrough.com. That's ecom with 2 M's, to learn a little bit more about how we can take your business to the next level. As a special bonus to my podcast listeners, this month I'm giving away a $10,000 comprehensive business strategy audit session at no cost. Email me at josh@ecombreakthrough.com with the subject line strategy audit, and tell me why your business should win the free strategy audit. And don't worry if you don't win this month, because you'll automatically be entered for the month to come. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to Stephen Pope. Stephen is the founder of My Amazon Guy, a marketing agency with over 250 brands that he manages. Stephen started his career as a TV reporter in Idaho. He then moved on to become an e-commerce director for 10 years for brands ranging from gold and silver coins to women's plus-size clothing. Following those 10 years as an e-commerce director, Stephen created My Amazon Guy, a 300-plus employee agency that focuses on growing traffic and sales on Amazon. Stephen not only owns My Amazon Guy, but he also owns My Refund Guy and 2 Amazon brands, Momster and Age of Sage, and a holster company, Holstit. Stephen has more than 1,200 tutorial videos on YouTube showing how to handle any problem faced on Amazon, and has interviewed every major player in the Amazon space on his podcast. So, Stephen, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me on.
I love that, Stephen. I think you have a wide array of experiences, as I read in your bio. You've been an e-commerce director in the past. You own, My Amazon Guy, and you're looking under the hood of many different brands on Amazon. And so I think you have a wealth of knowledge that our audience is going to be excited to hear what you've seen working, some of the challenges that you foresee coming up with Amazon specifically. But as we dive into things today, Stephen, what's kind of on the top of your mind with Amazon? What do you see working right now? What are some of the concerns that you see on the horizon?
Well, I think there's a lot of frustration right now, right? So like Amazon's coming out with all of these Amazon programs, and we're going to help you do this. We're going to help you do that. They're at Accelerate talking about how awesome all of these things are going to be for sellers. And then all I really want for Christmas, though, Josh, is functional seller support, right? Like that's all I want. And it's a joke.
That's been from day one.
It's a freaking joke. I cannot believe how ridiculous the process is and all that fluff on those Amazon tickets, right? So like you're like, hey, I just need to change my UPC on this one product so I can become compliant. Like Amazon on the left hand is like, you must change your UPCs by GS1. And then you're like, okay, sure, I'll be compliant. No problem. I go buy my GS1 UPCs. All right, let me try and upload that into my product. Oh, error message. You cannot change UPCs. That is against the rules. But you told me I have to change my UPC to be compliant with GS1. You cannot change UPCs. So then you file tickets to ask for help, and then they just give you garbage copy paste. And then and then my favorite part is the fluff, right? Dear seller, your message is so important to us. Here's 5 minutes of copy pasta that nobody needs to read and is complete garbage. Oh, and by the way, you can't do this. Right. Yeah, it's just a ridiculous place Amazon sellers are in right now. And nobody at Amazon cares about sellers at all. And like, it's super abundant. Okay, so maybe they don't suspend you without calling you first. Now, that was nice. Thanks, Jeff Bezos. Yeah. But like the compliance versus the ability to make logical changes to your own product pages. Amazon's randomly changing your categories. Amazon is seemingly randomly yanking your products and putting up the lost dogs of Amazon pages. They freaking love dogs over in Seattle. It's like a 6-month waiting period to get your dog on the photo shoots over at Amazon. They're obsessed with dogs.
I had no idea they had a queue for that.
So that's why when your page gets yanked on Amazon, you see the lost dog, and it's literally a different dog every single time. There's like thousands and thousands of them. But really, like, okay, Amazon, I get it. You put all this effort into taking pictures of dogs, and all I want is functional Amazon support. Just give me a freaking guy who can respond to a logical request and fulfill it. That's all I need. Just let me change my title. Just let me unsuppress my listing.
Oh, it's so true.
You just yanked 20 of my listings for not having GS1 compliance for UPCs, but you won't even tell me. You don't even give me a suppression notice. You don't give me a performance notification. You don't send me an email. Nope, they're just gone. Goodbye. Yeah. Bye, listings. Oh, that parentage that you had that's been in place for 17 years? Yeah, that's gone too. You can't connect blue and red together. That's against the rules. What do you mean that's against the rules? Blue and red's, that's a color variation. Well, somebody reported you, so we took it down. Yeah, thank you, Chinese sellers. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Chinese sellers who are going out of their way to ruin my business and just attack me and hijack my listings. Oh, and by the way, hey, somebody in Canada loaded your product and they put cocaine leaves in the keyword. So we're going to yank your supplement in the U.S. Yeah, it's gone. Sorry, you can't do that. What do you mean I can't do that? I didn't do that. Why are you yanking my listing? So these are all the problems that Amazon sellers are facing right now. And I could obviously go on for another 20 hours.
I know you could. I know you see a lot going on. And in fact, I know you help a lot of those brands when they run into issues like that with your agency, My Amazon Guy. So, Stephen, let's rewind. What led you to get started or even have the idea of coming up with My Amazon Guy? Why don't we go back to that journey? So
I was a classic entrepreneur my entire life. First thing I ever sold online was a Magic the Gathering trading card on eBay. As a 12-year-old kid, I made $20 selling a Sliver Queen from the Stronghold edition for those super geeky nerds out there. And so I was like, this is awesome. During my childhood, I was a chess prodigy, so I taught chess lessons. I sold chess sets. I was buying wholesale for chess sets. I was selling them. I was hawking them everywhere. I taught in over 75 elementary schools in the state of Utah. And so I was like, always like, business is awesome. I'm going to pay people to do everything for me for the rest of my life. I'll never have to change my car's oil again. Right. There's this thing called business. It's awesome. Right. So I was like, OK, I'm going to get into this. So I went in, but I was like, well, I don't really know what I want to do with my life, which every college age person does. So I went to school for a communications degree and I went into broadcast media and became a TV reporter. My father's a weatherman in Utah. His name's Dan Pope. For our Utah friends out there who've probably seen him on the weather. And actually, my dad works for me today as one of our account executives. But in any case, I did that for a couple of years. And then I was like, man, I was in Wisconsin during the middle of a blizzard. Worst blizzard Wisconsin had seen in 10 years. It was 10 o'clock at night. I'm doing a live weather hit. They tell me to go on the air and I can't even see the cameraman. And so like I'm blindly looking 30 seconds into the camera live on state television. And this is Madison, Wisconsin. So this is like the biggest market in Wisconsin. And my hair froze over. I felt miserable. Everybody was home in their pajamas. Like, what am I doing with my life? So like every classic entrepreneur ever, I was like, this has got to change. So that was my moment, pivotal point in life of career change. So I went back to school, picked up an MBA, broke into marketing, and I've been doing that ever since. And I worked for 4 failed startups out of 5 companies in my 10 years. And I helped make companies millions of dollars. And I know this because as one example, public example here, Apmex.com, APMEX.com, #1 precious metals dealer online in the world, #1 seller on eBay in the world. I helped increase their SEO traffic by 10 million unique visitors, not visits, visitors in 1 year. And I could just cite example after example. But then when my final failed startup failed, I was like, this is stupid. Why am I helping other companies make millions of dollars? I'm going to go into business for myself. And so on a whim, in less than 48 hours, I created My Amazon Guy. And I'm in the laundry room. I was telling my wife about this, and she says, well, how do people normally introduce you? Because I had side hustle consulted for like 25, companies prior to starting the agency.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, nobody really cares who I am. They're not going to sit down and read my bio, but they're going to say, hey, talk to my Amazon guy and he'll help you. And that's exactly how I created the name of the company. It just stuck. Right. And so that's what we've been doing ever since. Within the first 48 hours, I had my first $3,000 a month contract, and I hired an assistant. That first client, 5 years later, is still a client with me today. I did increase their fees. And then I hired my first assistant within 4 weeks. And within 1 year, I was at 12 employees. And now I'm at 300 employees today. So it's just been a nonstop growth acceleration. And that's how I got into being an agency guy.
Yeah. I love that. I love that experience. I love that you went into business yourself. And most importantly, you've seen some huge wins, but also you've seen some failures as well along the way. And I think that we all learn from, those failures the most. So what we want to talk about today, because you have such great experience, and we could go in many different areas here, but we talked about this prior to hitting the record button on this podcast. But I want to learn from you, and our audience is going to be interested, Stephen, to learn what would you recommend 7-figure sellers and those that are maybe experienced on Amazon, they have a mature brand, so to speak. What should they be focusing on Amazon, especially knowing where, kind of the puck is going in the future with Amazon, where things are going? What strategies would you recommend sellers be implementing right now?
Anything that generates traffic and improves conversion rates. Full stop. That's it. That's all you got to focus on. Those two basic parameters. Now, I can break those two down one layer deeper.
Yep.
Under traffic, there's PPC and SEO. And under conversion, there's merchandising and design. So those four pillars make up e-commerce on Amazon. And so as we continue to go down even a layer further, content production is the most underrated, easiest thing to do as an Amazon seller that is being abandoned. Now, obviously, there's a lot of cardinal rules of Amazon, like never go out of stock. That's cardinal rule number 1. And cardinal rule number 2 is kind of like cardinal rule number 1. Don't go out of stock, right? And so like those are important concepts. But when we look down to the very basics of how to sell more products to more people more often for more money, it comes back to those 4 pillars: SEO, PPC, design, and merchandising. And if you were ignoring 1 or 2, maybe even 3 of those protocols, you're in a world of hurt right now. You are losing to the Chinese who are hacking your accounts and your listings. You are losing to Amazon's policies who are clamping down and making it harder to be on the platform. You are losing to your competitors who are in a death spiral with margin problems, but are still lowering their prices because consumer demand is down. And inflation is like 27%, despite what the government claims. Whatever the government says, triple it. That's the true inflation rate. And so people's margins are shrinking. Policies are harder. Competition is steeper. Let's throw aggregators into the mix, too. They're buying up all the brands and then, really messing with the marketplace. And so like all of these things make it so that Amazon is entering the maturity phase. So as a 7-figure Amazon seller, you need to get back down to the basics. Ignore all of the hacks. Do this 2-step URL, everything will be fine. Yeah, and then you're de-indexed. Hey, do rebates, and then all of a sudden you're banned, right? Or incentivize reviews, and then what happens, right? All of these things are against policy, and they are black hat tactics. Stick to the basics. SEO, PPC, design, merchandising. If you're trying to violate the basics by overcoming them with alternative options, you are going to reap alternative benefits, and those are not good benefits.
That's a fantastic breakdown. I love that you gave us a layer deeper there. You have the traffic and then the conversion. Then you gave us basically 4 kind of areas that 7-figure sellers or anybody in general on Amazon should be focused on. So, Stephen, I would love for us to dive in to each of these, individually. Let's talk about SEO. What are some quick wins that we could do with SEO, PPC, and then we can really dive into the merchandising and design, because that's where I think a lot of that content strategy that you talked about is going to make a big impact. But let's start at SEO. What are some quick wins and things that we should be focused on?
SEO has, in my opinion, a multiple phase approach. SEO is not set it and forget it. SEO is not set it and forget it. SEO is, in fact, the opposite of that. SEO is let me optimize it continuously. Therefore, if you buy that paradigm, it'll shift how you make content. For example, if we went through my 4 phases of SEO, I would tell you, you need to index the product. You need to incrementally index the product. You then need to rank the product, and then you need to gain market share. Those are my 4 SEO phases. And so today, I'd love to talk about how we go about gaining market share with SEO. And I've got a case study and some stuff I can show. So we could talk about the ICAP marketing funnel. This is what I call it. And it stands for ICAP, impressions, clicks, add to carts, and purchases. ICAP marketing funnel. This data that we're about to show you is available for free inside of Seller Central in the Search Query Performance Report. And we're going to live demo it today and go through it. So here's a case study. This is a keyword called sage candles for cleansing house. And just for some, basically to understand what product we're looking at, here is my product. It is a sage bundle. It's dried sage sticks and leaves, and you burn it to clean a house, cleanse it rather. And so I have 1,166 reviews on this listing. It's coming up on its 1-year anniversary today. It's got Amazon's choice for incense. And when I first launched this product, it became the #1 seller in all of incense for the new release. So it got the new release badge. So it's a very successful product. So the reason I showcase this is because when you look at the keyword that we're going to talk about today, sage candles for cleansing house, and I go over to Amazon right now and I type that keyword in, and you look at the search results, well, you see my ad come up #1 with the sage bundle and all that good stuff, right? Looking good there. But everywhere else you see is a candle. Candle, 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 candle. You just go down the list and it's nothing but candles, essentially. So when this showed up on my brand search query analytics performance report, where I call the ICAP marketing funnel, and it was showing up #1 on my list, I was really surprised. And so I was like, well, why is this? Well, when I was looking at this keyword, I saw that my impression share, my market share, this is of all impressions available on Amazon for this keyword, and this keyword ranges about 3,000 weekly searches, so about 12,000 monthly, and it dips up and down depending on the season. And this query, I own 2.75% of impressions. Now, mind you, I've never focused on this keyword prior to starting work here. I had no idea this keyword existed, but it showed up on my search query performance report. And I was like, interesting. It was at #1. It was the #1 keyword that Amazon said I should focus on, was not even on my radar. So my click share was at 7.58%. My add to carts was at 8.9. My purchases was at 6.6. And I said to myself, this is interesting. So as a marketing funnel, normally it's a tornado where you lose people as they go farther down in the funnel. And I had a pyramid, not a tornado. I had the inverse of a classic marketing funnel. I had more market share under clicks than I had under impressions. And I said, interesting. Why is that? And I studied it, and I concluded that this keyword was not only relevant to my listing, that I was going to go out and generate additional traffic on this keyword. I said to myself, the Search Query Performance Report tells me this is important. So I'm going to use the ICAP marketing funnel methodology that I teach, and we're going to go out and we're going to gain some market share. And within 7 weeks, I basically tripled my market share from 3% impressions to 7%, from 8% clicks to 20%, from 9% add to carts to 21%. And basically, 1 out of 5 people now purchase my product off of this keyword. 1 out of 5. And this is for a keyword I didn't even know was important. Now, remember, I told you there's 3,000 weekly impressions, 12,000 monthly. Run the math on that. 1 out of 5 people who searches for that keyword buys my product. This is 1 single keyword. And we're going to demo the search query performance report. Now, because I've used this case study publicly before, I'm going to go ahead and do a raw new one. So today we're going to look at
this is some real value, Stephen. You're dropping real value, never before seen or heard from Stephen Pope. So buckle up, everybody.
So this brand is called Lily Posh. This is my newest brand launch. It's a clothing brand. What happened is my business partner bought this brand and stored about $2 million in merchandise in a warehouse and then forgot about it. True story.
I wish I had $2 million to forget about.
That was my business partner. He lives a very different life than I do. Anyway, I was like, well, why don't we start selling it? And so, he owned all the rights. So I purchased the trademark and we loaded it onto Amazon. So this brand has been around, I don't know, maybe a month now. Very, very new. So we're starting to get some data here. And we're going to look at the search query performance report, brand name called Lily Posh. So on this report, we have various keywords and we have all of the data and the same methodology that I talked about, that ICAP, ICAP, not to confuse with ICUP and the joke you make on the playground. But
thanks for clarifying.
But the impressions, clicks, add to carts, and purchases. And so you can see all the data here. This is live data that we're looking at on screen. And I'm going to go through and explain each of these. So let's find a keyword that I have some relevant traffic on. Sherpa pullover women's. Okay, and by the way, I have no idea what a Sherpa is, but I have a product that's probably a Sherpa. So this brand has like thousands and thousands of SKUs. Okay, so this is a brand that we're going shotgun approach, just trying to list it all and see what happens. Okay, impression share. Today, 1.4% of all people who search Sherpa pullover women's see my product. I don't even know which product it is, but they see it. But then when we look at the click-through rate and we see my brand share rate, I have 1 out of 5 people who see my impression click on it. That's an extraordinarily high click-through rate. But in terms of brand share, it's at 3.66%. So of all of the clicks that occur on a 1,500 weekly search volume keywords, Sherpa pullover women's, I'm getting 3.66% of the clicks. So let's keep going down the funnel here. Of all of the people that add it to their cart, 2 people added it to their cart, or 4.2% of all of the brand share for adding it to the cart, right? So you could times that and figure out how many people overall are adding it to in a cart, which is 47 right there. You can see that. And then let's go to the far right. And then of all of the people who purchase it, I have a purchase rate of 0.11, but a 0% goose egg on the brand share. So I had a high click-through rate and then a low conversion, right? So people technically added it to their cart, but they never went back and purchased it during this particular week. Now, if we went from a monthly standpoint, which we'll do real quick, and we'll go to the month of September. October's data hasn't processed yet. And we're going to see if we can find, remember the keyword was Sherpa something. Sherpa pullover women's, right?
Pullover. Yep.
Yeah. So now on a monthly basis, just under 7,000 search volume. Brand share was lower overall for the month, which means I'm starting to gain market share recently. 0.4% then, 1% clicks, 1.8% add to carts, and still a goose egg. So nobody has purchased my product off this keyword yet, which is why we went to the monthly to see for that. Now what we're going to do is say, cool, if we know Sherpa pullover women's is an opportunity that I'm not converting on, we need to figure out why. So we're going to go to my inventory and we're going to type in Sherpa pullover women's and see if we can figure out which product this is for. And lo and behold, we look for it and we see a bunch of search suppressions and we got red flags here. So oh, thanks, Amazon, you're suppressing my crap. So let's go see, why is it suppressed? And this ASIN is suppressed due to problems with its parent ASIN. Please address the issues with the parent and fix it. So we then had to go dive in and start troubleshooting and look at what's going on with it. And this all started because we went to the search query performance report, right? Now, obviously, you can go create alerts and figure out suppression. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take this nice screenshot, I'm going to circle the search suppressions, and I'm going to spout this off to my team over in Slack right now. And I'm going to tell them, hey, we got to fix some suppressions. I'm going to tag my merchandiser. Fix suppressions, please. right? So that's going to be done as a side job here. All right, so now we're going to try and figure out, though, how to increase our market share on this. And we don't know which ASIN it's for at this point, but we're going to see if we can sort this by Amazon FBA or active FBA. So there's no active FBA. We only started a merchant fulfilled, and we're going to use a technique I call onboarding a SKU in mass catalogs. So generally speaking, if you've got thousands of SKUs and you're launching on Amazon as an afterthought, you may want to start with FBA inventory, figure out what sells, and then ship into FBA. Because it doesn't make sense to ship 5,000 SKUs into FBA. It just doesn't.
Right.
So we're using an onboarding strategy. So I've got 40 SKUs with the term Sherpa Pullover Women's. And in here, we can figure out which product would be an opportunity to try and chase. So my sales rank right now is at 268,000, which is low, but it is a clothing item. And we're gonna come in and look at one of these. So we're gonna sort this by availability. So this particular unit, I have 168 products available before we have to reorder. So I'm gonna go to that listing, and I'm gonna take that same keyword, and I'm gonna Control F. Do I have an exact match for Sherpa Pullover Women's? And I do not. Nowhere on the page. I have Women's Sherpa Fleece Casual Long Sleeves Button Neck Splice Sweater Casual Pullover Sweatshirt, but I don't have Sherpa Pullover Women's. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to click Edit on the product, and I'm going to go to the bullets, and I'm immediately going to add something into either the title or, you know what, we're going to work it into the title. Because this keyword is at the top of my search query performance report, so it's got to be important. So Sherpa Pullover Women's. With that, Stephen,
I mean, why don't we just give the audience a quick rundown of is the importance factor for each of the different, the title. How important is that for SEO versus the bullets versus the description versus back-end search terms?
Title is most important. After that, there's probably some debate of whether the search terms or bullets are next important. And then following that, A+ content, which is the most underrated and underdone. And then we have alt text behind the A+ content, the actual crawlable text in the A+ content, the brand story, and then social posts would probably be next. And then following that, the Q&A and the reviews on the product page. And somebody listening to this right now is like questioning themselves. Did Stephen just say the Q&A on a product page indexes? And the answer is yes, it does. And you can go test it yourself. I dare you to go ask a question in Spanish on your own product page, use somebody else's customer account, and then answer it in Spanish and English. And I bet you within 48 hours, it'll index for a Spanish term in that question. You can test this a second way. Put Spanish behind the alt text of one of the photos on A+ content, and I guarantee you it will index in under 48 hours. So we know these things index. All right, so I just reworked this. I changed it from Lily Posh Fleece Sherpa Sweatshirt for Women to Fleece Sherpa Pullover Women's Sweatshirt. I made an exact match title change.
Yep.
The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the bullets in the product details section, and I'm going to add it in there as well. So our Lily Posh double-sided Sherpa Fleece Pullover Sweatshirt for women, right, which is pretty much a phrase match, broad match almost, is constructed of. So we're going to figure out, okay, where are we going to put this? So top grade quality, amazing features, complement your style, suits many occasions, quality and reliability. So I'm trying to figure out where it's going to make the most sense. Lily Posh is a registered brand in the U.S. Nobody cares about this. Let's delete that. Sherpa Pullover Women's Sweatshirt. Our products are completely sourced from our own warehouse. They're sourced from our own warehouse.
that is clever.
This is written really great content that my team has written. We can do better than that. Obviously, with thousands of SKUs, some of this stuff's going to happen. And all right, so we got an exact match in there. We're going to hit save. Well, first of all, I need to remember which ASIN we're on. So let's grab the ASIN because we got lots of products.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to save this. Then we're going to go into the A+ content. So we're going to go into, let's see, I'm not used to the new UI yet. So under advertising, A+ content manager, And by the way, what do you see on screen here? Premium A+ content access. Guess who has premium A+ content access? Do you want premium A+ content? I know you do. Well, here is how you get premium A+ content. First of all, you need to have a brand story on your page. Okay. So let me show you what a brand story can look like. So we're going to go back to the smudge sticks.
Okay.
Scroll down. And here is what a brand story can be. And what do you notice about the brand story? It can go horizontally. I can get horizontal real estate on Amazon for the first time. This never existed before. Somebody out there is like, why would I care about horizontal inventory? Well, if consumers are staying on your page longer, are they more likely to purchase? Ding, ding, ding. Yes, they are. Yeah. So you do want horizontal content. You also want vertical content, which is in the form of A+ content. Look how gigantic this photo is. I mean, it takes 2 scrolls to see how big this photo is. You cannot get this with regular A+ content. This is free, by the way. All you have to do is submit 15 A+ contents and a brand story, and you get access to this. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to go. Hopefully, I have built A+ content for Lily Posh. Looks like I have. So, women's sweater pullover. This is probably the right one. Let's look at my live listing. Do I have A+ content up? I do. I don't have a brand story yet on this particular ASIN. I have 5,000 ASINs, so it's still kind of a work in progress. So we're going to go on my Slack channel again here. I'm going to shoot off. So I'm doing work in real time to show you how authentic this is.
You're efficient, Stephen.
Need a brand story on Lily Posh, and then I'm going to post the ASIN. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go into the A+ content design. And you see how I haven't filled a headline in there yet? We're going to take advantage of that. And let's go back to the keyword in question, Sherpa pullover women's. And we're going to add that into the headline of the A+ content. Sherpa pullover women's. And then to make this make sense, we're going to type in sweater.
Yep.
Right? Okay, so then I'm going to do that. That's cool. We're pretty light on description and text. Again, this is a leftover project we're trying to do from the ground up. So if this was like my only widget, I wouldn't be having these conversations. So next you review it and we submit it. And this is probably going to go through in under 48 hours. It's a simple text change. So right now it's week 40. Is that right? Week 40 inside of the Search Query Performance Report. And we just made these changes. In addition to that, I'm next going to go into my advertising. So we're going to go to Campaign Manager. I need to add that one to my bookmarks. And we're going to hit Create Campaign. And we're going to hit Continue on Sponsored Products. And we're going to go to Sherpa Pullover Women's. And we're going to grab the same exact ASIN that we've been working on. And we're going to add an exact match for this particular product with manual targeting. Enter list Sherpa Pullover Women's. And we're going to go for a phrase match, pay a little less than exact. And probably want sweatshirt as well. So we're going to do sweatshirt and we're going to go phrase match on that one as well. And nobody searches that. As you can see, there wasn't a suggested bid. So probably nobody looks at that at all. We're going to do, I usually do fixed bids when I first launch a campaign, and then we're going to title this Sherpa Pullover Women's. Launch campaign. I need to set the budget first, of course. So we'll set the budget to $25 a day. So when I check this in 2 and 4 weeks from now, and I go back to the brand analytics, what we're going to see is this brand share is going to go from 1.some-odd%. Let's see, it was 1.4% search impressions, and it's going to go up to like 5%. And this is a 3,800 weekly search volume keyword, which when we compare this to the September data, right now is the busy season.
Yeah,
it's going up, starting to get cold, right? Everybody's looking for a Sherpa pullover right now. Again, I still have no idea what a Sherpa is. So
and you're saying, and Stephen, you're saying that brand share is going to increase just because you've created that PPC campaign. You've added that keyword exact match into your title and into the A+ content. So you're just going to get a little bit more love from Amazon in terms of relevancy.
My prediction, 2 to 3 times the market share in less than 2 weeks with those changes we just did. 2 to 3 times.
Fascinating. Yep.
Yeah. Now, with catalogs in the thousands of SKUs, you can replicate this in mass, right? And so this was just one single keyword we did this exercise on. We spent 15 minutes on it. We made these changes, and I predict that I will gain 2 to 3 times my current market share and start generating sales, which is the most important part.
Yeah.
Right. And if you run this play over and over again, your ICAP is going to increase. Your market share is going to increase. Again, ICAP stands for impressions, clicks, add to carts, and purchases. Come through your search queries and work on those angles. So I know we went pretty deep on SEO today. Now, for those that want more information about the ICAP marketing methodology, go to myamazonguy.com/ICAP or ICAP. And you can see the case study we talked about today, as well as additional content on this concept.
I love it. That was such a great breakdown, Stephen. And again, a little treat for our audience, seeing that in real time with a brand new product. You haven't, this wasn't staged. You didn't come prepared with that, and you got to see it in real time. So thanks for sharing that with us all, Stephen.
I still don't know what a Sherpa is, though. I'm going to have to Google that now.
That is good. Hopefully our audience.
Member of a million people living on the borders of Nepal. Well, there you have it. Okay. Now I know.
Hey, you learn something new every day. Stephen, we talked a lot about the SEO. We touched on some PPC briefly in that example. I really want to dive into the merchandising design side of conversion. What is it that you recommend there, right? We just talked about getting that brand share up, and we did that with some SEO tactics. But I'm assuming that when it comes to the add to carts, the conversions in that ICAP formula, that's where you got to start focusing more on the design, the merchandising side of things. Is that right?
You are correct. All right. Are you more of a Megapint guy or a House of Dragons tumbler guy?
Oh, man. Let's go with the Megapint. I've got my tumbler right here.
Okay, so Megapint. This is obviously from the Johnny Depp trial. Okay, so here is my tumbler. It's a 30-ounce tumbler. I have 342 reviews. You know that the Megapint trial was not even just a couple months ago with Johnny Depp, right? This is old news. This is a dying product now, to be fair. But the fact is, I made thousands of sales on this product by following the cultural phenomenon. And I was so confident this was going to, when it started doing well, I was like, frick, everybody's going to rip me off and copy it. Now, if you type in Megapint into Amazon right now, chances are my product will come up in the top search results for you. If you type in Megapint cup, it'll be #1 for sure. But in any case, I was like, everybody's going to copy me. So what did I do? I added a freaking pirate eye patch.
I love it.
Right? This is merchandising at its core, folks. Do something that your competitors cannot easily replicate. And so we added a pirate eye patch to the Megapint tumbler. And when we were transitioning the stock, we put the pirate eye patch on into the stock before we updated the imagery, because we didn't want somebody to be like, where's my pirate eye patch? And within the first 48 hours of some of that stock hitting, and it was still mixed inventory, people started posting pictures of them wearing a pirate eye patch, right? So let's go down and click on, or showcasing all of the things that they got. So this woman right here, Miss Kimberly, she posted this, the eye patch was a nice touch on June 18th, right? Right. Like that's what we're talking about. So these sort of things, and how many of you guys would like to have pictures from your consumers showing use of your product? I didn't have to ask Kimberly to take that picture. She took it on her own volition because I threw a pirate eye patch in. Now, I have to be honest with you. I spent $5,000 on pirate eye patches this year. That was not necessarily predicted to be on my P&L this year. But $5,000, well spent.
Yeah.
Well spent.
Fast.
We sold thousands of these units. This is my best seller of the year, and had lots of fun with it. So when you're talking about merchandising, that one gimmick, adding value, and I don't know what the cost of a pirate eye patch is, maybe 3 or 5 cents a piece, right?
Yeah.
Now you run the math on $5,000 in pirate eye patches. You can see how many pirate eye patches I had to buy. All right. So inside of here's one of my favorite infographics that we've made. I'm a really big proponent on infographics that clash and showcase a lot. So like you got this ice and fire shot.
Okay.
Right. You got the Song of Fire and Ice, which you avoided. You went Megapint instead of Fire and Dragons. All right. Game of Thrones reference for those fans out there. In any case, showcasing how the fact that this can keep liquids cool for 10 hours and keep them hot for 4. And by the way, double insulated tumblers are actually a legitimate thing. Let me sell a little bit into this product because I was really surprised it freaking keeps ice. Like you still have ice after 10 hours. Like it's insane. Anyway, so good product, cultural norm, right? And we basically just took advantage of the fact that we had the pirate angle and the Johnny Depp. Every piece of keyword of this title is highly optimized based on what consumers are searching. Megapint cup, 30-ounce stainless steel wine and beer tumbler, double wall insulated tumbler with lid, trial merchandise, Johnny Depp mug for Captain Jack Sparrow fans, plus pirate eye patch. Right? Every keyword was highly chosen and used. Hearsay brewery, right? Like every flavor opportunity that we had, we went all out on this product. This is how you merchandise a product. We also have a brand story where you can cross-promote additional products. Want to increase your average order value today? Here's your 5-minute hack. Add products to your brand story. I can click into each of these products and cross-promote and sell more. The A+ content. We have big images, lots of text. This is regular A+ content instead of the premium, so you get kind of a difference on the angle here. The copy that's inside of the A+ content produces a lot of SEO indexing. One exact match keyword in the title, the bullets, the description of the A+ content will index the product frequently. Then you have to rank it and go through later and try and work on it. But merchandising this product, and then, by the way, want to increase your average order value again? Here's a product grid, best module of A+ content's right here. I can click and cross-promote to all of these various different products. You want to go to the man cave? Here's that product for you. Click on this, right? Go there. What products for her? Mothers. Get this product. This particular product here, I sold $144,000 Mother's Day of 2021. It only did $67,000 in 2022. Product fell off a cliff. And that's because gift giving right now sales are way down.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, economy and government, for quantitative easing and printing out lots of money. Appreciate it so much. So economically, gift giving, not a great place to be right now. I actually ran a $20 off sale on this fabulous box. I haven't checked the results yet, so let's go check it. So let's see. I haven't been moving any inventory. I had 1,000 of these units. Let's see how many I was able to move. Not enough. There's still 850 of them sitting. But I moved 44 units in the last 30 days. So when I lowered the price down, I generated like 40 units in less than 3 days, which is good. I was trying to figure out how to get this to recover. So sometimes when you have a problem product, the easiest thing that you can do without spending money is simply lower your price.
Interesting.
Say goodbye to your margins, but it's cheaper than marketing it.
Yeah. And with that, like, do you ever test out using coupons or any of those, extra promotions on Amazon? Have you had success with those?
All the time. I'm not a fan of coupons. I think it's better just to simply lower the price. I've had more effective opportunities with that. But for those of you who haven't set up a coupon before, you can easily do that by going to advertising, coupons, and you'll notice I have 0 running coupons on my account. I do not like them. But this product, we tried lowering the price $20. I moved 40 units. Now the next thing to try and merchandise will be to run a coupon. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to run money off, and we're going to put a $10 coupon on this, limit 1 redemption per customer, and we're going to put a $100 budget on this. Did you know that each coupon redemption costs you 60 cents? So that gives you an idea.
Yeah.
All right. So this is Not a Day Over Fabulous. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday gift for women. Soaps, cup, Tumbler. We'll call it Tumbler lotion. I think it has lotion in it. Yeah, it's got lotion and it comes with a card. Too long. All right, so extra spacing, no characters. Okay, so they're making it hard on me. Soap Tumbler. Is it good now? Can't use commas? You can't use commas in a coupon? This is getting ridiculous. Women's Soap Tumbler gift box. All right, try that. Continue and submit. So we'll see how that does. All right, so I'm merchandising live on a podcast, guys, to see if I can sell more products. And you can see how I troubleshoot, try, test things out. But I've got a great product listing. I got 365-star reviews. I've got a good product. We've merchandised it well. I already ran A/B. One thing we haven't talked about yet, the importance of A/B testing photos. So let's go over to my men's soap. So I ran 7 A/B tests on this main photo to land with our current listing. And Dr. Squatch Soaps, which is the #1 seller of men's soap on Amazon, they own like 75% of the market. It's egregious. They're a monopoly. Got to take those Squatch guys down. And so I'm trying to figure out how to beat that. So I repackaged my products. And this is the original. The repackaging hasn't come out yet. But showcasing like what matters on a listing here can be extremely important, right? So like, who here doesn't want to increase their market share by just changing one photo, right? Something that's super easy to do. There's an opportunity to get that done by simply running a PickFu test or an A/B test on your main photo. And what we were able to do is figure out, okay, should the soaps be in a square? Should they be stacked? Should I have them diagonally? Should I have them in a plus sign? And how do they compare against the competition? So we ran all those various different tests. Also, adding a big text word on the main image is the #1 Amazon hack to growing sales. There is nothing more powerful.
Really? That's a great hack. Just having so like for you, it's the Age of Sage, the box itself. That's your big words, I guess, on that main image, right?
So if you go to Amazon right now and type in the word journal,
okay,
people that have the word journal as a text on the main image are going to get a higher CTR. You could layer this down even further. So I have a friend who I'm helping right now with their journal, and I will show you the impact that this had. So I'm pulling this up live.
That's cool.
So give me a second as I pull this up. But essentially, we were able to increase the amount of traffic going to the listing with this one change, which is just an incredible opportunity to do it. Okay, so I've almost got this. I was slacking back and forth with my friend quite a bit. So, all right, so here is the image, copy image, and I'll showcase this, and I'll show you the A/B test results. So this is what we ended up with. Pulling this over screen right now. So this is the new image.
Nice.
And by showcasing the fact that this is for ages 6 to 12, it made a massive difference. How big of a difference? Well, 45 to 5, people like this new image better. Right? That is a 90% mandate. Anything above 60%, I like to call it a mandate. So here is the original image. What's wrong with this original image? Well, first of all, if you shrunk that down to 100 pixels, which is the size of an image on side of Amazon search, you can't read it. You can't read any of it because it's embossed. It's not written. So what we did is we photoshopped a new little white banner there and made the kids' journal words gigantic.
So this is not, you didn't have to repackage this product, right?
We didn't, not yet. He's going to after he sees the sales triple. Okay. But like, but right now, just to get on base, we just photoshopped the new main image. We took a picture of one of his best pages inside of the journal and we opened it up. So you could tell, hey, there's weird drawings of creatures, right? It looks like a kid's journal just based on seeing that. And then just to add to this, we slapped on age 6 to 12 right on top.
Yep.
So that way, when somebody's looking for a journal for their 6-year-old kid, whose product are they more likely to click on now?
Well,
the new Photoshop job or the old one?
And I'm assuming, obviously, they're going to click on the button that says 6 to 12. But I'm assuming you also did this because there's some search query performance data backing up the fact that there are people searching for journals for 6-year-olds or journals for, elementary age,
That's exactly what we did. We looked at the Search Query Performance Report. We figured out what the highest search volume keyword that was already performing well on this product. And we said, cool, now let's go triple our traffic by adding age 6 to 12 right there, kids journal right there. And then if you go look at the content that they left. And by the way, when I ran this A/B test, PickFu had the ability to switch my demographics between age 5 to 10 or 5 to 12 or something like that. And so I chose the specific demographic to prove a point. People who have kids in this age range are going to click on this product more. This product is meant for kids age 6 to 12. Therefore, let's chase that demographic. Let's put it right on the content. Let's put it right on the main image, and let's help them out. And if you read through some of these comments, I like the fact that it shows the appropriate age group for the journal, right? That's a great comment.
Yep.
And she sees an age label. Age label, because it makes it clear that a kid's journal is more animated and fun looking. Like on and on and on. All of these contents say the same thing over and over again. And so convincing my friend that he needed to change his Amazon listing, not hard.
Sure.
Not hard at all.
Sure. No.
So if you were struggling to convince your team, you're the smart one at the company, and you're like, man, I'm the only reason this brand is surviving, and you can't win that emotional debate, run an A/B test.
I love that. Stephen, you've dropped some huge knowledge bombs on all of us today, and I think even for myself, I've got a great mindset shift in the way that we now look at, or the way that we will look at search query performance, and then how that's going to impact even the main image itself that we just saw, the title. And so I'm going to break down, I think, for our audience, 3 main takeaways, actionable steps that you can make to your business today to increase sales, take your brand to the next level. Is number 1, Stephen showed us a great example. Again, you can watch these videos on YouTube. If you're just listening to the podcast, go check us out on YouTube. But number 1, dive into your search query performance, because like Stephen mentioned, there was a keyword that he was getting traffic from, but it did not register initially on his keyword, his keyword list when he was initially creating that listing. And like Stephen mentioned as well, keywords and SEO should not be a set it and forget it strategy. This should be something that you're paying attention to, seeing what's working now, and obviously seasonal traffic can bring different keywords at different times of the year. So I think that's so important. Like, pay attention to what's going on in that search query performance. That's action item number 1. Number 2 is actually taking action on step number 1. So identify those keywords, but then start implementing those changes into your content and your merchandising. So a perfect example is, adding in the age range. If that's a big keyword for your particular product, adding that to your main image. It could be adding those simple keywords into your A+ content or your title, like we showed on that live demo. And then last but not least is A/B testing your product images and even A+ content, right? Especially that main image. That's where you're going to get the most clicks to even open up and go check out your detail page. So one of the most important images that everybody should be A/B testing is their main image. Stephen, I want to ask you one question there on that A/B test for the main image. Do you ever use Amazon's A/B testing feature within Amazon, or do you exclusively use PickFu on its own?
I have, but it's just a waste of time, right? In the world of Amazon selling, you have days, not weeks, to make sales improvements, or your listing is going to die. You cannot afford a 6-week test, which is what Amazon will do with an A/B test. And think about the lost sales. If you have a 60% mandate running a PickFu test, how quickly you're going to see those sales generate, right? So I did a coaching session with somebody else who also sold a journal, and he came back 4 weeks later and said, Stephen, let me show you this data. It's insane. He bought a second coaching call. I'm not cheap. And he bought a second coaching call just to show me, because he was so grateful. He generated 60,000 weekly extra visitors from one main image change.
Wow. That's huge.
It's insane. It's insane. So that's why I don't think you can afford waiting for Amazon's data. Just make good decisions based on best practices and use a PickFood test to validate if you need to.
Man, that's amazing. I mean, that's a huge mindset shift, even for myself, like how impactful those main images can be. So I hope our audience has taken away some brilliant golden nuggets today. Stephen, a couple last questions that I'd like to ask all of the guests that come on the podcast. Number one is, what has been your most influential book in your life and why?
The Road Less Stupid, without a doubt. I like Traction. I like Scaling Up. I like a bunch of other business books, but Scaling Up has a special place in my heart. His main thesis is take time to think. If you don't have scheduled thinking time on your calendar, you are going to make piss poor decisions.
I agree with that. That's a great recommendation. Next question I have for you. What's your favorite productivity tool or resource that you've been using?
Well, we are making one right now. We're going to release this to our own company. It's called Hybrid, and it's going to be a tool that will combine all of the great elements to run an entire agency in one spot. Tools like Asana and Time Doctor and invoicing and a bunch of other cool things all in one spot. But if you asked me this question 3 years ago, I would have told you Calendly because nobody was using it back then. Basically somebody can see my availability and hire me for a coaching call, same day appointments available because of a productivity tool like that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And last thing here, Stephen, who is somebody that you like to follow in the e-commerce space that you feel is somebody that people should be paying attention to?
I like Harry Joyner. He's an e-commerce recruiter who has the ability to do 2x2 on any subject. So what I mean by 2x2 is he can break any issue down to a quadrant and figure out where to focus. So for example, new to old, old to new. So that means new customers, new product, old product, who to sell what to who. And selling new to new has always been my quadrant. And so Harry Joyner can just explain how to articulate a marketing strategy. And he's just got a lot of great, unique content you won't see anywhere else. So you can find him on LinkedIn. He owns ecommercejobs.com as well.
Awesome. Brilliant. Well, Stephen, is there any last parting words of wisdom you'd like to share with our audience before we sign off today?
Just do it. Just take one thing and go do it, guys. E4, and most important move in business is E4, which is literally take that pawn and move it forward 2 spaces on the chessboard and just go get it done. I'd love to hear how things work for you guys. If anybody listened to this entire podcast and takes action and has success or maybe failure, tell me about your failures too. I would love to hear from you guys. Send me an email to podcast@myamazonguy.com.
Awesome. Stephen, it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you for listening. Visit ecombreakthrough.com for more information. If you've enjoyed today's episode, the best way you can show your appreciation is by clicking the subscribe button and quickly leaving a review. See you again next time.